Welcome to another SoCal Sports Report weekly podcast. John Stellman along with Vince Morales. And back from abroad in Ireland with a wonderful trip is John Adams. We missed John last week, but you'll be glad to know Jake did an admirable job in your behalf.
All right.
A lot to talk about tonight. Too much for an hour, I'm afraid. Let's get right to the playoffs and the National League first. Wednesday is the game that the Dodgers are going to be looking at. That's Colorado, Arizona. And whoever wins that wild card game comes to L.A. on Friday. Greinke against Gray. Gray's pitched well lately. John Gray at 10-4. Greinke 17-7. The one good thing about that is the Dodgers at least know if Arizona wins that series, they'll probably only get Greinke once if he's pitching against Colorado on Wednesday. What are your guys' feelings on that wild card game?
Yeah, I think obviously the Diamondbacks are a better team, but with a one game going, Greinke, and it's a toss up. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the Dodgers look at it. Nobody wants to play in Colorado. I mean, there's just too much nonsense that can happen, and with the way the Dodgers bullpen has been performing over the last month to 5 weeks, I don't think you want. Not that Chase Field is a lot better. I mean, balls fly out of there too, but not like Denver. So, to me, even though Colorado's not quite the team that Arizona is, I don't want the Dodgers playing in Colorado. I really don't. I don't want to see that. Again, you're going to get the first two at home, and so I go back and forth on it. I go back and forth on it, but I think it's going to be Arizona, and the Dodgers have losing records against both of them this year. It was such a magnificent season, and yet still losing records because they caught those teams early. Well, caught Colorado early when Colorado was winning and was on top of the West, and then they caught Arizona late and just got taken.
That was the one part of the 1 in 16.
Yeah, exactly. Run. That was when they were losing 16 out of 17 and lost I think 6 out of 7 games to Arizona. Right. So that's what put them over the top. So a team that's won 104 games, 40 plus games over 500 and losing records against the two teams right behind them in the division. So
I actually think you want to play Colorado, to be honest with you. They're 41-40 on the and on the road. I don't think they have anybody that's really overbearing when it comes to being able to dominate. If you do get Greinke, you want to get Greinke on the road anyways. He's 13-1 at home. But I just think that you would rather see Colorado. I mean, I think you think the Dodgers going in to play Arizona. I think Arizona is going to come off of that game and be very confident about what they've done against the Dodgers this year. And so if I'm the Dodgers, I'd rather pick Colorado. I do agree with you. It's the playoffs. Anything can happen.
One game.
It doesn't surprise me if this kid Gray that's pitching tonight. He's 2-0 at Chase Field, and again, it's a team that's very young and raw. And I think that you're going to have a Greinke coming on a mound who's been there, done that. He's a big time pitcher. He pitches very well at his home park. But again, it could be a little dink into left field that scores a run. I mean, these games, I think it's going to be like a 3-2 game, or it could be a 4-2, 2-1 game. I just have a feeling that these games get really tight, and some pitcher misses, guy hits a home run. So these games could go either way.
Plus, Arizona's pretty confident right now. They've been played well down the stretch.
A lot of confidence.
Yeah.
Here's what I predict: a 24-inning game, and they both use about 11 pitchers, including a couple of starters in the game. That's what the best thing we can hope for. Again, Greinke has not always been great against the Dodgers. He's definitely beatable. So, but we're glad we're missing him. He's the best there. But Ray and Godley and Corbin have been terrific this year.
Correct.
The Dodgers just need to come with their A game. They absolutely need to score runs and play the way that they were earlier in the season when they went in there into Arizona. I guess it was in early end of July or early August before where they went in and they won 3 games. From Arizona.
And you have the Dodgers. You had some of these guys that were kind of in some slumps. Am I right by saying they're kind of coming out of them?
Oh yeah.
So that's
Grandal's hitting the ball.
Right.
Granderson's still crappy, but he's again, Roberts, for whatever he has chained him to his leg, and if this team is going down, Granderson is the anchor that's going down with him, and Roberts is glad to do it. He looks at him and he says, "This is the exact kind of guy that I want in the postseason. This is the exact kind of guy who knows how to prepare. This is the exact kind of guy who can win you ball games, who knows how to win, and it's infectious." And I'm looking at it going, "But he can't hit.
That's right.
He can't hit."
Did he move him back down the lineup, or are they still?
No. Roberts has not moved him down in the lineup. He's been he's batted first. He's batted second. He's had him, and then the really deep in the throes of his slump, he had him batting 7th or 8th.
Yeah.
But he's going to hit second at some point against righties. He's probably going to hit.
And I read that Taylor got hurt. Is he okay? Is he going to be ready to go?
Taylor looks like he's going to be fine.
Okay.
Again, for the Dodgers, it's going to be Taylor, Seager, Bellinger, or Turner, Bellinger,
right?
And then it's a hodgepodge from there, whether it's going to be Puig and Grandal and Forsythe at some point. That's the biggest thing is who protects Bellinger, because in the playoffs they're just not going to pitch. The kid does swing at pitches out of the strike zone, and I don't see a lot of. He's young, and they're not going to throw him a lot of strikes. And with Seager, who's a kid who doesn't take a lot of pitches, who's last year was getting seeing 3.8, less than 4 pitches per at bat,
right? Yeah.
Who swings a lot of pitches. He makes great contact, but they don't have. A pitcher doesn't have to be precise with Bellinger or with Seager. What needs to happen is they need to miss, and you need to get deep into a bullpen, and you need to start striking the ball and driving in runs. And so that's where the Dodgers need to be. If it's a bunch of 3-3 games, and you got to bring in Kenley Jansen in a tie ball game because you didn't score enough, that's not going to do it. It's just not going to do it.
Yeah. I was trying to get educated in between a match in cricket between Killarney and Cork, so I was trying to read up on the Dodgers baseball. Is only as much internet I could get in a pub, so which is the most boring game I've ever seen in my entire life.
Have you ever seen what is
cricket?
Cricket? Oh yeah.
I love it when they say, "I go, when will this end?" They go, "About 3 or 4 days." I'm like,
yeah.
What? I'm like, no thanks. I'm done in 20 minutes.
A little afternoon tea break.
Yeah, exactly. Cup of tea and some cricket.
Have they
a bunch of guys in white sweaters.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Have they submitted their playoff rosters yet?
No.
No.
Thursday.
That's the thing. It's like a card game right now. There's nobody submitting. Although I saw that the Cleveland just went, here it is.
A team like that, I think they're confident.
Yeah,
they know exactly.
Yeah,
they don't have to. What's their game Thursday, so they don't have to come out with it until tomorrow.
But he says, I'm going to pitch 4 guys. Here it is, right here. But I'm assuming you're going. You're going Kershaw to Darvish to Hill?
Yeah. I think that's right. I had my hold on one second. I had my Dodgers roster. It's definitely going to go Kershaw, Darvish, Hill. I think it depends on who the matchup is. I love Wood. They might bring Wood out of the bullpen. It's going to be a very interesting. I don't think it's set. Here's what we know. We know in the infield, it's Bellinger, Forsythe, and Utley are going to be platooning at second, then Seager and Turner. That's the infield. Grandal and Barnes are going to platoon at catcher. Barnes has been terrific, not just against left-handers, but against righties. He's terrific.
But did I hear they brought a third catcher up?
Well, they have a third catcher, and I think they're going to use him. And I think they're going to bring him because Barnes has good speed. Barnes is a great pinch hitter. They might bring Farmer might make the postseason club. They may go with 3 catchers. So Kyle Farmer may be on it. I've got a circle around him that he likely will be on there. Then the outfielders, we've got Puig, Granderson, and Taylor. So it's going to be Granderson in left, Taylor in center, and Puig in right. Kike will probably hit against lefties for Granderson. So again, I think it's going to be pure platoon. And then I think it's Ethier. I think Ethier gets the call over Jock Peterson. I don't think, I think there was some thought that maybe Culberson and Verdugo. Are they going to go 13 players and 12 pitchers? Are they going to go 13 pitchers? I don't know. I don't know Roberts' mind well enough. I think it could be Ethier and Farmer, and somebody like Maeda may get left off of this. So it's Kershaw, Darvish, Hill are going to be your starters. And Wood is going to be the guy if you need a 4th starter. Though Wood has been terrific. I prefer him in some cases over Hill, but Hill has done terrific down the stretch. And then in the bullpen, there might be 3 lefties. It might be Cingrani. Cingrani has acquitted himself nicely, so it's going to be Cingrani and Watson, and maybe Ryu. And Baez has pitched better lately, so Baez is on the roster. Fields, and then Brandon Morrow and Jansen. Morrow is the 8th inning guy, the 8th inning right-hander, setting it to Jansen, and then before that it's Cingrani or Watson and Baez. And then there's going to be Maeda and Stripling. I think are the 2 who are sort of the toss-up. I don't think we know yet. I don't think we know yet. I don't know if they, with Maeda and Stripling, both righties, will they keep Ryu and the other 2 lefties? I think they need to.
We'll find out soon enough.
Yeah, we'll find out Thursday.
Let's take a look at the other National League game that starts on Friday. The Cubs National League Series, the Cubs and the Washington Nationals.
Yeah, it's going to be a great series.
That should be a very good series. I really like the Nationals pitching.
Well, I guess Scherzer's probably going to slide into the 3 spot now.
Yeah, he's got.
And Strasburg's going to, because he's got a hamstring issue.
Yeah.
So Strasburg's going to start that, and then I would think they go to Gonzalez second, and then Scherzer would be coming into the 3rd spot to kind of ice his hamstring a little bit more.
Those all 3 guys.
And
Scherzer.
it's going to go Lester, Hendricks, and Arrieta for the Cubs. So. And they're going to put Lackey. I would assume is like first relief, but I think that's just going to be a great series. I just don't know if the Cubs are really firing on all cylinders when it comes to their bats, and I just don't know if they're going to be able to do that against the Nationals pitching. But we'll see. So
yeah, they've got they hit well and they pitched well. It's going to be a good series. The American League, in fact, the Twins and the Yankees are probably
5 o'clock going right now.
At it right now.
The youngest Yankees starter to start a playoff game in 21 years, I think it is.
Wow.
21 years. So they're going with the young guy.
Yeah, it's going against Santana, ex-Angel.
And
Yankees are 4-2 against them during the season. I think this is a complete coin flip. Minnesota's 7-3 coming into in their last 10 games. I just think they've got a lot of confidence. Yankees got a lot of power. Not going to lie to you. I mean, this could go either, but it wouldn't surprise me if Minnesota wins this game.
Minnesota swept them too.
In late September.
Yankees
swept them in late September. Yeah. And then I think the kid, Severino. Yeah, is 14-6 with a 2.98 ERA, and again, it's no playoff experience. Santana's got some playoff experience.
He does. Yeah.
But if Santana misses up, the ball could go It could go to New Jersey.
You guys want an update?
So, yeah, what do you got?
3 first inning runs for the Twins against
there you go.
Severino.
Yeah.
What is it now?
Twins 3, Yankees nothing. Still top of the first, 1 out, 1 on.
Yep. So there you go.
So
Yeah.
it was just too big a stage for Severino. That's the worst case scenario for the Yankees. They're going to be second guessing themselves now about, he was 14-6, 2.98 like you said, but he's young. Stage was too big.
Minnesota hasn't won a game in New York this year. They lost a season series 4-2, and the Yankees beat them all 3 games.
Well, and the other thing is, last time Santana faced him, he lost 2-1. He went 2 runs on 7 hits and 5.22 innings with one walk and 3 strikeouts. If he can do that again, and they can just give it to their 6, 7, 8 guy or 7, 8, 9 guy, that could be very.
Dozier with the leadoff home run.
Really, that gets a stud.
Yeah, and then Maurer made out. He walked Polanco, and then Rosario 2-run home run, and then Escobar singled to center, and he's pitching to Max Kepler. So 2 first inning home runs. Leadoff home run by Dozier, and
then what Rosario you need in that game, you need that Yankees crowd. And they just shut him up. They just shut him up. Yeah. They just shut him up. Yeah. So
it's good, but if you're a Yankee fan, you're thinking, all right, it's top of the first. And stop the bleeding.
Still got 27 outs.
Score a run, win the next inning, keep going.
Yeah. And you got to give it to the Twins. I mean, they're the first team to lose 100 games and then come back and make the playoffs next season.
Unbelievable.
That's right.
Great story. Yeah. So
Thursday we'll get the wild card against Cleveland. Whoever wins that Yankee Twin game.
I just don't think there's any beating the Indians at all.
What's that?
There's no beating the Indians.
They're just talking about somebody that's on autopilot.
Yeah, they were 5-2 against the Yankees during the season. I don't know. I didn't check their record.
I was going back over our podcast earlier in the year. You guys had it both Red Sox Cubs World Series.
Right.
I had it Dodgers Indians.
Yeah.
World Series.
You might be closer.
I think you are.
We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Because I'll tell you right now,
we're all close. We're all there. We're all we're all sniffing around. So
because the Boston-Houston series is going to be a great series.
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
So
I like Houston won that season series 4-3.
Right.
But and I like their pitching, especially with Verlander now. Verlander, Keuchel.
But then that's Verlander, Keuchel.
Where did Brad Peacock come from? 13-2.
Right. Yeah. But I mean,
Charlie Morton, 14-7.
Right. No, they have great. I just don't know how these kids respond in the playoffs. Your first 2 guys are well tested. It's just these other guys, are they well tested? And what's positive about it is you can do a quick hook there and get somebody else that's just as good to slide in.
Right.
So they're deep. But I'll tell you this much: they hit the baseball. So you're going to have to outscore them.
Yeah, Houston led the league in every offensive category except they were second to the Yankees in home runs, 238 to 241, and they didn't lead in triples, but they led in every other offensive.
I mean, because if Altuve can set, when I went to one of my last Angel games, Altuve was hitting 3rd or 4th in that lineup. He used to be a leadoff guy. Yeah. So I mean, they've got a lot of just ways to score. So,
update in New York. Severino is out.
First inning?
He's gone. Green is in to relief.
Wow.
Still 3-0?
It's still 3-0. Second and third with 1 out.
Thanks for coming.
Yep. Wow. Too big. Just too big a stage for the kid.
And now
it's one thing when you're throwing strikes and throwing hard during the regular season.
So let me ask you a question. Would you have started Sabathia there? I mean, who would you have started? Somebody that has a...
Definitely, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, somebody with experience.
It's like this Arizona team. I mean, you put your bet. I mean, Greinke. You know what I mean? You
right.
just don't like. It's almost like he put him out there so he could use him later.
What are you saving Sabathia for the first game against Cleveland?
You can't save
right? Yeah.
You can't save anybody when you're playing that.
Right. It's a 1 game. You flip a coin and go. I don't know. Just something I was thinking about. As I was a little surprised that you.
Boston's pitching Sale and Pomeranz both won 17 games. Yeah. So you got to hope that Rick Porcello gets his act together.
What about David Price? Is he gonna
out of the pen?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy's. I mean, is he? That's what he's gonna. They're gonna put him out of the pen. Is this because he's hurt, or is this not performing?
No, just because that's where they feel that he can do the most damage.
Wow.
That he can help them coming out of the pen. He's thrown pretty hard lately. He's been throwing pretty hard.
No.
Is that the highest paid reliever in baseball history?
No kidding.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hardest paid a starter that actually has to relief.
Exactly. Do you guys have your awards?
I do.
I do.
Let's get to that. Start with the MVP. I'll kick it off with the
American League or National?
American League. I think
Okay.
we'll start with, and I don't know how it can be anybody else but Altuve.
I'm with you.
I agree.
I'm with you.
The New Yorkers are going to try to get Judge in there, but
You know what? That kid's a little scrappy guy. I mean, he hits 346 with 204 hits.
204 hits.
You can hit him first, second, third, fourth.
24 home runs and 81 RBIs.
Right? Yeah, and he's
been on base 300 times. I mean, is that right?
Yeah,
Right. So
Yeah.
200 plus hits and a bunch of walks. He's been on base. I mean, just ridiculous.
And 32 stolen base, 112 runs. He does everything.
555 slugging.
And I think he came in third in the Kentucky Derby.
A 7.7.
Was somebody
WAR.
on him or he was on?
No, he was on somebody.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a what 5'6".
5'6",
Like
yeah.
Plays like he's Judge at 6'7".
That's in spikes on concrete.
But it was he's fun to watch. He's a scrappy.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you,
It's hard not to root for him.
right, and it's hard to get him out. Even
Very
when he
hard.
He's
gets out,
impossible.
he hits it
He's
hard. You know,
impossible to get out.
He can steal bases for you. He's everything. You know,
Does it all.
I do agree that if Trout doesn't get hurt, he gives him a run for his money. You know,
Right.
if you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I thought it was great the way that Trout came off the injury and still got to 30 home runs and
Yeah.
did he get to 30 stolen bases? That's what I didn't see.
Who,
Did-
Trout?
No,
Yeah.
Trout. Did he go 30? Was he a
I don't
30-30
know.
guy?
I don't think he was.
Okay. Because that was one of his goals this year is to try to steal more bases. But I looked at it and I don't think there's no contender to Altuve.
I can't see any. National League is I got 4 guys on that Washington team that are certainly deserving, but I think you got to go Stanton.
I did the same thing. I looked at it because I looked at the numbers. He almost got to 60 home runs. He had 132 RBIs. He led in slugging percentage at .631. But I look at this award as if you took him out of the lineup. Right? If you took the MVP out of the lineup, would they have made... Oh, Stanton was on a bad team.
Well,
Still put up numbers.
Still finished second.
Correct. But like a guy like Arenado or a guy like Goldschmidt, if you take them off that team, does that team get to the playoffs, right? And that's where I look at is this the most valuable player to his team that if you took him off, they don't make the playoffs. And those 2 guys are they're up there to give him a run for their money because I think if you take those 2 guys off of their teams, they don't make the playoffs. Stanton, though, put on a show offensively. So I have no problem giving him the MVP.
Like we talked about.
But I did want to say that there's a couple other guys right behind him that are somewhat close.
So who would you pick? Who would you vote for?
Stanton, just because of
Like
the
we talked
offensive
about
numbers
last
that
year.
he put up.
There should be an MVP.
But a guy like
award.
Altuve, right? His team made the playoffs because they
Right.
needed him, right? So I kind of looked at it that way, where I almost kind of went towards a Goldschmidt, but I said, you know what, Stanton's numbers were just that much better than the other guys. So I don't know, Vince, who you went with.
Pretty impressive.
Again, I like complete players. Guys that elevate their team. I'm an Arenado guy. I think defensively, he is just absolutely lights out.
I'm a
He's
big fan of that kid.
Mike Schmidt type of
Yeah.
guy. I mean, we're looking at a Hall of Famer in the making. Hit 388 with runners in scoring position.
That's a real test.
He's got a 1.226 on base plus slugging with runners in scoring position. He's absolutely fearsome.
Had 130 RBIs.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's absolutely ridiculous. So for with him and Goldschmidt, it's like almost identical numbers, but what Arenado brings to the table defensively. For me, Stanton, you're not in the playoffs. I'm just not that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I don't like voting for guys that who make their team good enough to be second. To me, that's like, what did your 60 home runs accomplish? It kept you out of the basement. It didn't get you to the playoffs. And, would
you not have voted for Mike Trout last year?
It's a good question. Probably not. I mean, if I'd had a vote, but that's just the way that I personally vote.
Yeah.
So for Arenado, defensively, but Trout again was a very good defensive player. Giancarlo Stanton, pretty good player. He's not outstanding. Arenado's the guy.
He's soon to be a DH somewhere down the road. Yeah,
Arenado's the guy for me.
I still think we ought to have like we talked about last year, the most valuable player and the best player.
Yeah.
Because last year,
most outstanding. And most
Trout could have got the most outstanding player, and somebody on a playoff team could have been recognized as the most valuable.
I agree. And that's where I almost like to do this after the World Series, because I like to see how these guys
the World
do.
Series doesn't have anything to do with it.
No, I'm just saying, getting these watching these players, how they can make if they get on a team that gets to the World Series. What I'm trying to say is, this is after the season's over with, but I'd really like to do this after I see them go through the playoffs.
So are you saying that we should take the vote after the World Series?
I kind of do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because right now it's.
I understand. No, I understand. Yeah. But I just,
Well, they do have a World Series MVP.
Like a perfect example is like you got Arenado and Goldschmidt, right? And then all of a sudden one of those teams goes, and then how far do they go? And is Goldschmidt a big key to why they're going?
Right. Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah. But if Goldschmidt, they win, he goes over 21. And they're bounced after one series. Does that diminish his MVP accomplishments and
I
for the year?
understand why it's after the season. I totally understand.
So I'm Arenado.
Okay, that's
Do we even need to talk about Rookie of the Year? Because I think it's unanimous.
Let's go.
I think it's unanimous
on both sides.
On both sides.
Oh yeah, coast to coast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, and I love it. We got a Yankee and a Dodger, Judge and Bellinger.
Yeah,
but there's nobody even close to them. Both of them.
No, those are both the class of their leagues.
Unanimous, right? I mean, it's got to be. And if there's one knucklehead, there's always one knucklehead, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Do you realize that Judge was on the first round, but he was a 32nd player picked?
Yeah.
He's not young either. I mean, what is he?
No, he was in the minors for quite a while.
It took him a while.
Yeah.
You'd think with a kid that big, he finally figured it out. And he just started to crush. But yeah, I mean, so that you look at Judge, you look at Bellinger, and you go, wow. I mean, Bellinger's got five more years. To get to, That's why it's so exciting for Dodger fans to. If we get two unanimous rookies of the year, Judge and Bellinger, and you look at Bellinger and go, wow. 39 home runs, a lot of RBI.
97 RBI.
Yeah.
And was out for a little bit.
Yeah, and was out for Judge, had a slump there too. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, I don't think there's any discussion there. How about the Cy Young?
It's going to be an interesting year.
I think it is in the National League. I don't think it is in the American League.
Well, we might have a disagreement there.
Okay.
Kershaw in the National League, or you like something?
No. Well, you're going to go National League first?
Oh yeah,
I lean towards Scherzer a little bit, and it's totally due to the fact that Kershaw was out just a little bit too long.
That's true.
But I'll tell you right now, Kershaw's a close second. But I just think the injury and him being out for a little bit hurt him.
Yeah, Scherzer.
You're talking about Kershaw and Scherzer.
Mm-hmm. They're really
Kershaw had more strikeouts, less walks, lower ERA, more wins. Kershaw's my Cy Young.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, Kershaw.
And I understand that the other side. When you look at those are the traditional stats, but then there are the other things like WHIP. So. Scherzer has Kershaw on WHIP.
Yeah, he's got him there.
And he's also got him on WAR, wins above replacement. So, if you look at, if there are people who are voting who look at them as even, but think, the traditional stats, I'm less enamored by the traditional stats. These other stats, the WAR and the WHIP, those are the things that puts Scherzer above him. But as far as I'm concerned, more strikeouts, less walks, lower ERA, more wins. Kershaw's the guy.
Who threw more innings?
Well, Kershaw was hurt.
Yeah.
Kershaw
So
only
that's
threw,
I mean,
he had
you can go both.
175 innings.
Like I said, it's neck and neck.
He only threw 175 innings because he was out for quite a while.
Kenley Jansen's going to get votes. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually looked at relievers for that.
Yeah.
It's one of those years when a reliever could sneak in.
Yeah.
You know,
I agree with that.
It's happened.
The problem with a lot of it is that if the Dodgers weren't so good for so long, he could have had 60 saves. I mean, if there were closer games, the Dodgers were beating. I mean, when they went on that 55-16 run,
Right.
I mean, they were beating some teams, and Jansen sometimes never pitched,
No, that's right.
or would come in with a 4-run lead, or
Just to get his work in.
yeah, just to get work.
So is your pick Kershaw?
Yes.
Okay.
American League.
I took Kluber.
No, I'm a Kluber guy
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I did
agree.
too.
Yeah.
I did too. I looked at Sale. I looked at the 303 strikeouts, but I like Kluber's.
I mean, his number 2.25 ERA, 18 wins, 265 strikeouts with a whip of 0.87.
0.87.
That
Yeah.
whip is
That's
just
solid.
nonsense.
And he pitches with so much confidence.
Opponent batting average 193.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want
Yeah.
to see him twice in a series, man.
And he's pitching second.
Oh.
I looked at Cleveland. They're going to start Bauer first, and Kluber's coming second.
Just a matchup thing,
Yeah,
right?
probably.
Sets him up well for the
Although that
Worlds.
might be switching now because they might have thought the Yankees were
Yeah, look at
coming.
what the Yankees
So
did.
now they're like, it's kind of like when, with us at New Era when we're printing the winning championship game of the Super Bowl, and they're like, okay, they're going to give the ball to Lynch here. Seattle picked off. No, New England. So.
Let's see. How about managers of the year?
For me, it's real easy.
Let's go well, I'm not going to.
I mean, for me.
Well, I know who you're not going to pick.
You want to go American or national first?
Let's go national.
Well, national, okay.
Yeah, I'm Torey Lovullo.
Yeah.
What he's done, Torey Lovullo.
Yeah.
What he's done with the Diamondbacks.
Took him from 69 wins to 93 wins.
Yeah, and
in 1 year.
there were plenty of people who were thinking, they've got some good hitting, but where are they going to be? Is this going to be the year? Maybe they're a year away. No, I mean he elevated that team.
I agree.
So Lovullo's my guy.
Yeah.
I took Buddy Black.
He's second on my list. Yeah.
I had him down, and then I started looking at the numbers, and Lovullo blows him out of the water when it comes to
24
what he
game
did in 1
turnaround,
year,
though.
right? 16 to 17. But, yeah, I had him a close second. He deserves a vote. He deserves votes, that's for sure.
American League.
I took Terry Francona, and I'll tell you, but I have Paul Molitor a close second because of the, taking a team that lost 100 games to the playoff.
103 games.
But Francona is just, those guys want to play for that guy. And, do that stretch of, what did they win, 22 in a row or 22 in a row or something like that? I gave it to him. But I'll tell you, Molitor is a close second for me. So
I took Molitor.
Yeah, I'm a Molitor guy. I mean, I used to love him as a player. I'm voting for him.
They were sellers at the trade deadline.
Mm-hmm.
The front office decided to sell. The GM they dumped a couple of pitchers. They traded a catcher, and he got that team, like you say, 59 and 103, and they get to the playoffs, 85-77. So yeah, I like Molitor, and a lot of people are going to take maybe AJ Hinch, but that team was predicted to win. West,
exactly.
right
I
before
agree.
the season started,
I agree.
so.
I mean, that was what Molitor did, and not just goes 7-3 in this last 10 games to get that spot.
That's right.
The Angels were kind of barking at it a little bit. Kansas City, these other, but that team went 7-3, and that's why the score doesn't surprise me. They're playing good base. It always goes been like be afraid of the teams that are going hot into the playoffs. I don't care if you're going to be on the road or what. I mean, just teams that are hot. Watch out. These kids are playing with a lot of confidence.
Did you guys have a chance to get to the Executive of the Year?
I didn't, so I'll let you guys do that.
I did. For me, I think it just feels like getting Martinez at the deadline. Hazen's the guy for me, Arizona. What they did, the Martinez pickup could win the World Series for them. So to make that call and to build that team up from where they were last year, Mike Hazen is the guy for me.
I took him also in 62 games after coming from Detroit. Martinez 302 average, 29 home runs, 65 RBIs, 366 on base, and 741 slugging.
Yeah.
So I like Mike Hazen. How about American League?
Again, I think it would be real easy to go with the somebody from the Twins, Thad Levine. That's not where I went though. I thought Brian Cashman did the best job. The Yankees were supposed to be a year away, barring, maybe they might come back tonight. We'll see. I would have felt better about picking Cashman if the Yankees
hadn't given up 3 in the first.
hadn't been behind 3-0 in the first. So
I took that Jeff Lunau from Houston. Picking up Verlander was clutch. He was 5-0 for the Astros and had a 1.06 ERA in 5 starts and a 0.647.
But prior to that, getting Verlander, he was thrown under the bus by Keuchel by not doing anything.
Right.
So I think that saved him.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So
I liked.
And now the guy you picked up is going to start He's going to be the first guy out of on the mound.
That's right.
So he's taken. Keuchel was going to pitch second there.
Yeah, he'll be well. He's got that World Series, that post-season experience too. That's not gonna hurt at all.
And he's going to be pitching against the East Coast team, which he's used to pitching.
Yeah,
against,
exactly. He knows them well. Let's wrap up the Angel season. They've got. I'll tell you right off the bat, they got 2 guys. Nolasco, who they either pay $13 million to next year or do a $1 million buyout, and Houston Street, $10 million or a $1 million buyout. I take those $2 million, get rid of those 2 guys. You're saving $21 million. You can give that to Justin Upton. Real easy.
Thanks for your time. See you later.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, exactly.
The beach is west. Enjoy your time. I'm done. I mean, Houston Street, I'm surprised they even let him come back another year. But, I mean, I think what we found out of – I know we're going to lose Meyer next year, but I think what we found out of Ramirez and some of the younger guys that they can fill those roles. And you're getting them for a cheaper price, and you can spend that money elsewhere. And I agree with that.
Yeah, I think a $22 million fifth year would keep Upton in Anaheim.
Yeah, I agree. And
there it is right there.
And you can get – and I wouldn't mind keeping Phillips. I like Phillips.
I think
he did a good job.
Yeah. What are they going to do if they don't keep him? We're going to get Kyle, whatever his name is over there, second base. Pennington.
No, I like that, and you could use the Penningtons and the Cowarts and all those kind of stuff. I mean, you got to keep Escobar healthy. So, and I think you got to keep working. I still think you need to try to find somebody if you can get a good first baseman behind Crone, just in case Crone goes into a bad slump. Because I just don't know what you're going to do with.
I'm not trying to be rude, but is Crone your guy?
I was going to say Crone's not your prototypical
I don't think Crone's our guy.
Baseman.
That's why I'm saying you got to go out and try to find somebody.
Your corners are a major problem. You got to go get somebody.
You need power.
I think Escobar hits for average, but I'm saying he can't stay healthy. That's the problem. But I agree. I'm not a Crone fan. And by the way, I'm kind of sold on letting Pujols go now, but you can't.
Yeah, but what are you going to do?
Yeah,
you can't,
right? Nobody's going to pick up that contract.
That's what I'm trying to say. If you can go get out and get a good first baseman that's got some pop, I have no problem getting the replacement. But I do. Now look at Escobar is not a very good defender, but when he's healthy, he puts the ball in play and makes things happen.
That's right.
You can get your power elsewhere, and that's where you go get your power with Upton, right? And you fill that role, and he hit the ball great in the 2 spot, and he also hit it great. Oh no, I'm sorry, in the 1 spot, and he also hit it great in the 5 spot or 6 spot or something like that. So I don't mind it. Now I get scared every time a ball's hit his way, right? Because he could throw it in the 4th row, right? But other than that, I know that Crone kind of finished off pretty good. But it's still, I'm not sold on him. I'm not sold. Somebody needs to come in and compete for that job.
Haven't seen enough consistency out of Crone.
How about Moustakas, free agent, right?
We'd love to have him.
But he's been a third baseman, right?
Oh, you mean? No, I mean just a corner. Okay, I'm talking about the corners.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I think you have a little more flexibility with.
He hits well in Anaheim
Crone,
too.
at first if you solidify the hot corner.
Yeah.
So I think Moustakas would be a great sign, and I think Angel fans need to understand that they need to be very proactive about it, because Upton's going to opt out. I mean, there's just no question. He's not going to extend. He's going to opt out, and so the Angels are going to be in the hunt now. I don't know. Did Upton enjoy himself here? Does he want to be in California? I would think he'd want to, but if somebody's offering him a longer contract, and
he's got his contract is 4 years. If they can add a fifth year, at $22 million.
But if he opts out, we start over.
Right.
Would you guys be interested in him, or is that too much money?
I don't think I think we have enough options. I think we're going to wait on a Verdugo, for instance. We've got a left fielder with a blown ACL, coming back.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't think the Dodgers would spend that kind of money on a corner outfielder. Okay. They're more apt to go after pitching, I think.
Right.
I don't think anybody's going to offer Upton more than 22.
Oh no, I don't think so either.
I think that'd be the best offer you'll get. Tack a fifth year on at 22. Here are the Angel free agents, yay or nay. Andrew Bailey.
Yeah.
Jesse Chavez.
Was that a yes or no? Well, then you were really...
He's in the middle of flipping a coin.
I couldn't even read his lips. It was
next. Yeah.
Jesse Chavez.
I tell you, he did pretty good from the bullpen.
What's it? Well, yeah. So he's a free agent?
Yeah. Escobar.
I like him. I
like him.
Yeah.
Norris and his 550 or five money.
I wouldn't pay that kind of money.
I don't like him.
Yeah.
I never did. Pennington.
You can get him for cheap money.
Petit.
Cheap money. He actually did okay.
He did. Phillips and Rivera.
Phillips, I would resign.
Yeah.
And who was
Ben Rivera? I liked him.
I didn't mind him. Yeah,
I liked him.
Cheap money.
But they've got. They should have some money to play with. But Josh Hamilton's finally goodbye.
Good. Yeah.
Thank goodness.
I'd still look at if we could get a. I mean, I haven't looked at free agent pitchers out there, but if there's another good pitcher, I'd go after him, because you're going to lose Meyer for.
If you can shore up the line, if you get like a guy like Moustakas at third, I mean, you still got 100 RBI out of Pujols. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's astonishing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's astonishing to me.
Well, they're not going to be able to sign. They get Moustakas, and who's the other guy? Hosma?
But you can't do. Yeah, no. That's why they did that whole thing, right? They came in together, and they took him out in the fifth inning on Sunday, because they can't send all three of them. The center fielder also from Kansas City, Kane. So the three of them kind of, or 3 or 4 of them got together and like hugged, and then see you later, because they know it's not going to happen.
Yeah, they can't. They can't keep them all. How about the Rams?
How about them Rams?
I'm almost ready to take that first giant step up onto the top of the bandwagon.
Calm down. Calm down.
Uh-oh.
It was a huge test.
It was.
Huge test on the road. Great win.
It was.
Absolutely. And Goff looked like a grown-up.
And it's what we talked about. You give the kid time, and if you can run the football, he's going to be able to find his guys. I mean,
it was
he
so
really
balanced.
is, and he was very calm. And that's the whole deal, is when he gets razzled, when he's running for his life, he makes bad decisions, right? And that's what we saw last year. You go out and you get offensive linemen. How about the kicker? I mean, you got to give that guy, So your special teams. I mean, the whole entire. I mean, and you got a young offensive coach that everybody's believing in.
Yeah, I love that.
And they're really kind of, it's great. It's like when you look at the coach, and when Goff does something wrong, he doesn't get mad. He just kind of, he's got patience on this kid. And I think Goff's like, he's looking at this guy going, hey, look, I gotta listen to what this guy's doing. He's gonna make me a ball player. And again, if you can protect him and you can run the football, he'll be very successful, because I think the defense is actually, and we talked about this from the very beginning.
Been great this year.
But they're competitive. They haven't been phenomenal. They're not going to, you were losing games 12-10 or whatever, 10-6 or whatever it is, but they're still good enough to keep you in ball games.
There's no question, and there's no question. And for me, a lot of the growing pains are switching from the 4-3 to the 3-4 with Phillips.
Yeah,
I think that's made a big difference, and it's part of the reason why you've seen some points scored on them. Obviously not Indianapolis, but 27, 39, and then 30 from Dallas. So Washington scored 27 on them, and San Francisco, good God, 39, and then Dallas with 30. But what a balanced attack. And Gurley, Gurley with 23 carries, 121 yards. But not just
and
that,
running downhill.
Exactly.
But now, the other thing to remember is that he had almost 100 yards receiving. He caught 7 passes. He was the leading pass catcher for the Rams. And again, it's like, Sammy Watkins, Robert Woods, 2-1 catch each.
Yep.
And it was Gurley with 7 and Cooper Kupp with 5. And some of the biggest catches of the day were Cooper Kupp. Extending drives.
Right.
He is going to be terrific.
It's just going to get better and better with that Cooper Kupp kid.
He's been consistent now for a good 3 weeks.
And I'll tell you, I don't know if this is new, Vince. You're going to have to educate me here, but you're kind of doing what Green Bay did a couple years ago, and they started putting in Ty Montgomery in the backfield, and you're doing this with Austin. It's a good call, because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can hit a hole much quicker. You can little sweep and throw the ball out there. And it reminded me, and then now Montgomery's the number 1 running back in Green Bay. Yeah. But I think it's a great little mix. It's kind of what USC does. They have the Jones kid that can power through you, and then they give the kid to Cook. And he's all, it's more a little stringy and quicker and hits holes. But I really like that move there, to bring in Austin to kind of go, because these defenders are going, what do we do here?
Well, good God, he's got to earn his money somehow.
Right.
For God's sake. The thing that I think McVay likes about it the most is that it exposes the defense. If you can start getting linebackers or DBs sort of chasing him and pursuing him, it exposes what's happening, how they might be covering, whether they're going to be in a man-to-man or a zone. And if it's a running play and you've got him, coming through the backfield, you're taking somebody with him, and then you're running Gurley the other way. Or you give him the ball, and then he's running around a corner, or you're play action fake, and you've got Austin in a pattern, and he's taking he's dragging somebody with him. It's been working out great. Everything is going well. This was the week that I thought could really make the season. Seattle has not been great. That's going to be
got a bad offensive line there.
The Rams are favored in that game Sunday.
No, they should be.
That's at home. So. And then Jacksonville's going to be a tough game. I'm going on the road to Jacksonville, and then Arizona, and then before the bye week. So some tough games, but Arizona has shown that Carson Palmer is old.
That guy is getting beat to death down in Arizona. He's running for his life down there.
And the first half of Seattle's game this week, they looked. They didn't look very good. Yeah, they pulled it all together, but they didn't look very good. No, that
was a defensive study. Rams put 40 something on them too. You know what I mean? So that's not I'm really curious. So this is where, if you win this game this weekend, the confidence goes through the roof. You're like, hey, we're here to stay. Like, this is not a fluke. I think
but right now it's first place Rams.
Right,
Let's
exactly.
Go.
Yeah, no, it's fun to watch. After
they are fun to watch.
After the Washington State game, there might be a bigger team now in Los Angeles.
One of the things that really impressed me about that game was the fourth quarter, when they had the 3rd and 11 on their own 11, and Goff hit Woods with a 19-yard pass to get him out of that. I could just look back to last year where Fisher would have Gurley pile into the line for 2 yards, punt the ball, and Dallas ends up at the 50-yard line, ready to.
But it's like Vince said, this kid Cooper Kupp, he's starting to run his routes to where it's kind of like an Edelman type of thing. He knows there's almost like a safety zone over there that Cooper will. I can throw a 10-yard or a 15-yard, and you just throw it near the kid and he catches it.
Yeah, but Goff grew up.
Yeah,
Goff grew up. Yeah. He played like a man.
Yeah, he did.
There's no question. He played like a man. Again, it was frustrating. Like, okay, we're settling for field goals, but it's okay. We're staying in the game. We're staying in the game. We're staying in the game. 7 field goals.
Well,
but that's 7 scores. I mean, that's 7. That's 21 points.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
But those were times where they were moving the ball.
And plus, the defense held Dallas to what, 6 points in the second half.
That's what I'm saying. That defense is still competitive, and they'll keep you in the game.
I love Wade Phillips.
He was loving every minute of that.
You bet
being
he did.
back in Dallas.
Yeah. That was great. All right. Well, the Chargers are still the visiting team at StubHub.
Oh boy,
it's getting to be.
Yeah.
What are you doing here, and why?
They should go to Boise.
At
least they have a fan base.
I heard. I was listening to some San Diego sports talk radio a couple of days ago, and I guess Goodell was at the game Sunday.
Oh, really?
And the San Diego guys were wondering what. Roger Goodell never went to San Diego to see a game.
Right.
This is his second time out to. I think he was out there for the Charger opener, and he's out there Sunday. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Another crowd of 25,000.
They said, so I was Matt Money Smith. I was listening to those guys, and he said, okay, first game, Miami, it was like 60-40 Chargers fans.
Right.
It was our home opener. The next game, it was 60-40 Chiefs fans. And they said it was at least 70-30 Eagles fans.
Yeah.
It's got to be tough to play as a home Charger player to sit there and go, I'm home, but I'm actually away. That's got to be really. So your best time's like, let's get out of here. Let's go on the road and lose another one by 2.
And that's not an exaggeration. I mean, Matt Money Smith is on the Chargers payroll. I mean, he's their radio guy.
Yeah.
So, for him to say that, he's not. That's not an exaggeration.
He's not a home.
He's talking the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Rivers has had some very harsh words to say about.
I'm sure.
The only good thing about these games, at least the Chargers are prepared to go on the road.
Right. No, exactly. No doubt about it. Right. And they're prepared to lose by 3 or 2 or 1 or whatever.
Exactly. And they can lose just as easily on the road as at home.
Yeah.
But again, and I listen to a lot of San Diego sports radio, and it's to me, it's just laughable. Like, oh my God, 0-4, and maybe they're coming back to San Diego, and it's like, or maybe they're going to force them to. So like, you know what? You couldn't. For 30 years, you could not build a stadium for this team.
Exactly.
You don't deserve them back. There's no way they should go back. They should continue to play in front of 10,000 people at StubHub before they even set foot back in San Diego. San Diego doesn't deserve an NFL team. They don't deserve this NFL team. I feel bad for the fans, but for the taxpayers and the voters, they never did a thing.
No,
they never got the stadium going. Whether or not, again, that's an argument for another day. For different people, is whether or not taxpayers should be paying for stadiums. But the bottom line is that NFL has came out and said, we can't hold the Super Bowl here anymore. It's perfect venue for the Super Bowl.
Right.
We can't do it because your stadium is a piece of crap.
Right.
There's no luxury boxes. The facilities are bad. It's terrible. You got enough hotels. This is great. People will want to come here.
Yeah.
But we're not going to hold the Super Bowl here until you build a stadium. And they went, oh well.
Yeah. See you later.
Right.
Oh well.
Yeah.
And they let them go. And they don't deserve this team.
And they actually told the people of San Diego, they said, we will have a team here. They never said the Chargers. They just said a team.
Who said
that? The owners.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they said, we're going to get a team down. We're going to keep a team down here in San Diego. And it was really weird because a lot of, the voting down there for that stadium, right? It wasn't it was only the city of San Diego. It wasn't the county of San Diego.
Right. No.
So it was only certain spots that you could vote on, right? So there was a lot of, I was talking to the head of tourism down there, and he said, John, there was a lot of stuff under the table that was being lied to the people. And he goes, so the people that actually support this are up in North County and Orange County and up in Carlsbad area, and that they didn't really get to get to vote,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So your true fans really weren't getting to vote for that. And then the tax through the hotels was totally, it was said one way, but it was really another way. So on the taxes for the for the tourism to come in and pay for this stadium. So there was a lot of stuff that was said, but it was very vague and gray. And
then
a lot of those
there were competing venues and sites for where they wanted to build it.
It was a whole
and then they wanted to try and blend it in with San Diego State, and San Diego State says, no, we're not playing in we want our own stadium. And that was one of the other things that torpedoed some things. It's like San Diego would probably be happy to fund or help fund a stadium for San Diego State, but they just weren't going to do it for the Chargers, and they certainly won't do it for both.
Right.
And that means even the next team that might even be considering moving there has to think twice about it. They have to think.
I actually heard rumors. Again, this is just a flat out rumor, but I had heard the owners for the Ducks have looked in buying that stadium, downsizing it tremendously, and bringing a soccer team, MLS soccer team, in there, and also having a stadium that a San Diego State could fill, so it would kind of be like what we have at the SubHub, right, down there, and then it would be able also be built for concerts and all that kind of stuff.
John, I've heard so many different things. It's like, oh well, when the Padres got their own stadium, it was sort of a no-brainer, but it's like there will be no football in this stadium. Okay, so now the old San Diego, the Murph, whatever it was,
Jack Murphy, Qualcomm,
it is sort of sitting there, and it's a dinosaur. And so it's like, well, we already built a stadium. Why we don't need to. So let's just put it off. And then there were so many different conflicting things, and it was like, are you going to build an NFL stadium and then have San Diego State play there as well? Because they don't want to do that. They don't feel that there's any home field advantage to playing in a humongous stadium.
Right.
They can fill a 35,000 or 40,000 stadium, but they don't want to play in a cavernous NFL stadium. So for them, they're digging their heels in and saying, we don't want to share a stadium with the Chargers anymore.
I don't blame them.
All right. And then there's a group that comes in and says, well, we can build this facility that's a soccer facility. And San Diego State says, we're not going to play football in your soccer stadium. Now there's a lot of stuff. There's this group that says San Diego State, the Aztecs will play in a soccer stadium. But there's one group that says, no, this is a soccer facility only. And, concerts and things like that. It is just a cluster. It's a
mess.
Yeah. Football.
FYI,
they come back.
Yankees Gregorius just hit a 3-run homer to tie it.
Wow, they're back.
Here we go. Welcome to Major League Baseball playoffs.
Exactly.
So that was one other thing I wanted to.
I'm sorry, that was a first inning home run then, because I think I saw that Gregorius was coming up with runners on in the first.
Long game.
Because they're only in the middle of the second.
But getting back to the Chargers, right? I want to come in and I want to establish the run.
Anthony
58 yards in rushing on Sunday. What you're doing is you're not running, and you have a guy that can run the ball. So,
Well, can he? I mean, is it?
Well, he had 10 touches for 22 yards.
Yeah, and then they had a guy who ran the ball one time for 35.
Right? Yeah, he was the guy that was a player to be named later that they just picked up.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to give him another chance.
Yeah, so, one attempt for 35 yards for a touchdown.
No balance there.
Yeah,
no balance, no weapons. You got to question, some of the draft picks. The Mike Williams pick, it looks like it absolutely looks like a disaster, completely disaster. Okay, so if it wasn't Christian McCaffrey, get somebody else. But I don't think Williams is even close to coming back.
No, I don't think he is either.
No.
And you're 0-4, so take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah. No hurry now.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just you go hang out with David Carr and talk backs, okay? So.
We've already exceeded our 1 hour, but
really? Holy cow.
You want to give it a few more minutes and talk about SE and UCLA football?
Yeah, we'll just do a quick little.
No, I think we're out of time.
We are.
I might be out of time.
Whoa.
Well, just a couple things that I didn't get. I watched. You know what's great? The Pac-12 network. You can watch the game in an hour. It's a great feature on Cox. It's
Pac-12 and 60.
Yeah. So. Again, I watched this game and fast forward. I heard that you had, is it 3 freshman offensive linemen that had to come in and what I saw was a couple things. You looked like it was establishing the run there for a little bit, and they kind of got away from that. But you could tell that Sam was running for his life a lot. But again, he is trying to do this all by himself, and he's in, I don't know if, I don't know. You had Burnett that was 50-50, kind of a little bit hurt, but it still thought he did a great job. Right. But, you gave up 466 yards in total offense to your 328 yards. The kid threw for 340 yards. So, his just offensive passing numbers exceeded your total numbers.
Right.
So, again, I was getting on a flight to London when out loud I yelled to my friends, "Uh-oh, USC just lost." So I'll let you guys talk about the college games a little bit more. I was home enough to watch the NFL games. Right. So I'll let you guys talk about the football games. But right off the bat, what I saw real quick was he ran for his life a lot, made some bad decisions. He only threw for 164 yards.
Yeah.
So,
numbers weren't good.
So I'll let you go, Vince.
It was a trap game from the start.
We talked about that.
Circled it on the schedule. We knew.
Yeah.
I'm not. I don't like it, but it's all part of one of those things. Injuries and short weeks are all part of the game. If you're a champion, you need to win. You need to find a way to win on a Friday in Pullman.
Correct.
You just do. And so there's plenty of people, on Twitter and whatever. It's like, how can they do this to, a team? You're just torpedoing your conference by, making them play on a short week after they've played on. Stop it. Champions find ways to win. Yeah. And, for me, again, it's more of the same. Helton comes out and says, we had a lot of injuries. We didn't execute. I think they were 3 for 18 on third down. 3 for 50.
I saw that.
Something ridiculous.
I noticed that.
But again, they're not. They weren't. But again, it wasn't a lot of 3rd and 2. Right?
Yeah, there were long third downs.
So, and I made an error last week when I said that
what?
T. Martin's Wonderlic score was 13. It was 11. and just so you know, on the Wonderlic scoring of the 50, or score of 20 equals average intelligence.
Right.
And a score of 10 means that person is literate.
Yeah.
T. Martin has an 11 on the Wonderlic, and he's coaching like it on the goal line. Get that interception, that takeaway.
Right.
Can't put it in.
Right.
And it
that was
wins
huge.
right back.
Yeah.
That was huge.
That was the game.
Right. No doubt about it.
That was the game.
That was it.
And again, they did the same thing against Texas. Just pull, T. Martin. And again, T. Martin throws the kids under the bus and saying, they didn't execute. I called the right plays. We didn't execute. No, T. No.
Yep.
No. Because they're kids and you're a grown ass man. And
I mean, good to lose early, but you're going to have to run the
Well, that's what I think. I still think they'll. Make they'll run the table.
What was Washington State?
Yeah,
14?
No, they were 16th.
16. So losing to a team that's 16 is going to help a little bit, right?
It didn't. I mean, the Trojans dropped
14.
But I'm just saying, if they run the gamut and they look back and Washington State's competitive, maybe they lose. And the other thing that's positive is you lost to a team that's in the north, right? Not in the it's north, south.
They're in the north.
Yeah.
So. But again, the only way that it's even remotely good for the Trojans, it's a loss, and it's not a good loss. The only way that it becomes even a remotely good one, a good loss for them, is Washington State runs a table, wins the North,
and we beat them,
and USC wins the South and beats them. That's the only way.
That's what
get them on a neutral field. But I'm worried about Sam Darnold. I said from the very beginning when I looked at him, he's had a little too many Pedro's tacos. He looks a little chubby to me. He doesn't look as athletic as maybe he did last year. He's still making throws off of his. Look, somebody's going to draft him and draft him high if he decides to come out. And the expectations have been so high. I wouldn't blame this kid if he just said, look, I can't go through another year of that, because you know what? If the Trojans underachieve this year, compared to what they did last year, it's almost certain because of the way that he finished out and the way that he finished out the season against Penn State. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he just said, I'm going into the draft. But I also wouldn't be surprised at all if he was the fourth. Oh. No, I would be surprised if he stayed. Oh, okay. But I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped to fourth or fifth quarterback taken.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Josh Rosen has looked every bit as good as any first round quarterback as I've seen.
Yeah, he's playing like he did 2 years ago.
He is making a really dreadful group of wide receivers look really good.
Good.
I mean, he's making them look. He throws some of the best passes, and sometimes they're so good they can't even catch them. They're so fast. It's unbelievable. He is so accurate.
Right.
And he's head and shoulders above Darnold at this point. And I wouldn't. You could have knocked me over if you make me believe that I would have said that last year.
Yeah.
But he's come back from the injury. He looks like a guy who's on a mission. But the team just is not very good. And Colorado was just so ordinary, so pedestrian.
Yeah.
That. It's a win's a win. It's a good win for the Bruins. It's a good win for the Bruins program. But Josh Rosen's going to keep them in ball games, and he's not going to be around next year. That's for sure. No, he will not be, and he could be the first quarterback taken.
All right. I think we better call it a night. Right. Again, I want to remind everybody to go on the website, be on the show, send us a voicemail, and we'll play it. You might have some comments and questions about some of the decisions we made today. Maybe you want to give us your opinion, so go ahead and do that, and we'll play them next week. We are out.
Peace. Good night.